look at the
NBA season is in the books. Back with another episode of the Causeway Street Podcast. It's me, myself, Josue Pavone. Got Sean Dutra in the building.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, two-man crew for this episode, but the Celtics are now a 500 team. Who could have predicted this, Sean?
I'm throwing the towel for the season, bro. Stick a fork in them. They're done.
Your look ahead was completely off, Sean. You misfired on this one. You said that they would win all 4 games. And you were off.
I was.
You were off by 2.
I was.
I wish I said they were going to drop that game against the Raptors.
I did.
I thought they would, but I just didn't say it.
I did predict Geno night on opening night. I did predict that.
You nailed that prediction. That's true.
Did predict that.
Yeah.
The rest of it, not so much. But so the question is, I guess, are you concerned about the Celtics? The long run, no. But I think in the long run, yes, a little bit too.
In the long run, really?
Well, I think the team, the way it looks right now, is going to look completely different by the end of the year.
In terms of the players, or are you talking about their play?
I think in terms of the roles and possibly players.
Well, what's the problem here? What do you think? What's your take on the first 4 games?
Well,
What's been the reason why they lost to a team like the Orlando Magic?
So,
how does that happen?
And I think lost to a team like the Toronto Raptors too. They should have beat the Raptors that game.
Come on, that's a good team.
They should have beat the Raptors.
The Raptors came to play that night,
but they should have beat them.
You're still going
to.
They
still should have beat them.
You're
yes,
still hating on the Raptors right now.
Yes, you can't let a guy like Fred VanVleet hit big shots.
No, you can't let the entire team commit on defense the way they did because of who? Kawhi Leonard, the guy we've been talking about.
Here's the problem.
Kawhi Leonard's influence is going to be the difference between what we saw last year and what we saw this past week. Like, and listen, you talked about this last week at the Harp. They were already a great defensive team last season. Now with Kawhi Leonard, you see everyone on a whole different level of focus on the defensive end.
Right.
I'm not trying to give Kawhi Leonard so much praise. Like he's him being on the team has made everyone buckle down defensively. But it's contagious. I mean, we saw that last week.
But here's the thing, though. It's like I've been on record to say that if Kawhi Leonard goes against everything that I think is going to happen and commits to Toronto, commits to the defensive end, commits to winning in Toronto, commits to this season and plays a full 82 games, then we're going to have problems with Toronto. That's not going to happen, though. I'm still in that camp of Kawhi is going to have a phantom injury after proving he's back. He's going to play about 50 games this year, and that's. You don't have to worry about Toronto in the long run.
So what about the playoffs, though? He's going to step it up here? He's going to sit out? He's going to not want to play in the playoffs on a contract year?
Yep, probably not.
Sean, you are crazy.
Here's my thing, though. The Celtics is where this started, though, right? What is the problem with the Boston Celtics? 2 things. First thing is the offense is me basketball right now.
Yes,
and
agreed.
No one is listening to Brad Stevens, I feel like.
I don't think it's that. I think they're listening to Brad Stevens, but everyone is sort of wanting to prove themselves because of what they did in practice or whatever. They're wanting to prove themselves because they know that they have enough firepower, offensive firepower, to go off at any given moment. But what's pissing me off about the Celtics is their shot selection. They're just settling way too easily for low percentage shots. You see them jacking up threes. And it's not just about the 3-point shots, but it's just the way they're settling for these jumpers like 10, 12 seconds into the shot clock. I mean, look, they attempted 40 3-pointers against the Magic. 40.
Yeah, it's me basketball right now. And the only person that's on has been Jason Tatum consistently.
Except for against Orlando. He didn't look too great against Orlando.
Well, yeah.
But besides that, yeah, I got you. He's been the most consistent.
But at the same time, like, so it's weird to say they're trying to play playoff type basketball in the regular season, and that's not what's going to win you games. The game is not slowing down right now. It's not a half-court game right now. It's a team game in the regular season. They were so successful last year when they won 16 straight games and just playing. Yes, Kyrie was the number 1 player and the number 1 scorer on that team, but everybody was moving the basketball and bought into that team. This year, I haven't seen that. I haven't even seen a single shred of it. And on top of that, No one's playing defense. The defense has sucked, and that it has. The most glaring issue I've had with the defense so far is Kyrie Irving.
All right, we'll get more into that. Also, I just want to set the table here. We got that, of course. We'll talk about the Celtics' shortcomings throughout the first week of the NBA season. We'll also get into Rajon Rondo versus Chris Paul. That's the topic I really want to get into. But then finally, we're going to revisit a topic that we talked about at the Harp, a recent report surrounding Kevin Durant leaving the Golden State Warriors and going to the Lakers.
Oh my God.
We got Brandon Scoop B. Robinson joining us. Scoop B writes for basketballsociety.com. You've seen him on CNN, MSNBC. He'll be joining us momentarily. So that's going to be fun. He's going to give us the inside scoop and what he heard, his sources. He's one of the first guys who leaked this story.
We'll test his sources.
I can't wait to see what he has to say. But okay, back to the Celtics. So, okay, you know what? You talk about the defense, Sean, so let's start right there. The thing about the defense, in my opinion, is on paper, it doesn't translate to the eye test, right? Mm-hmm. They're keeping teams at a minimum under 100 points, right? You saw what they did with Orlando. Granted, Kyrie Irving did pick up his offense in the second half because they really needed that, right? Kyrie was completely off in the first half, which is surprising. Look, I know DJ Augustine's been in the league for quite some time here, but there shouldn't be any defender on the Orlando Magic backcourt that's preventing you from getting into your flow of the game in the first half. But that's what we saw. However, he did bounce back in the second half. What bothered me defensively was these stretches where Orlando would just go on these little mini runs. And the Celtics would retaliate, right? They would get it down from 12 points to 5. And then Orlando would go on these little run, bring it back to double digits. Celtics would get it back down to 4, to 3, but they never once led the entire night for 48 minutes.
Against the Magic.
How does that happen against a team like the Orlando Magic?
Well, I mean, I think the Magic are showing that maybe they're like a little bit of a surprise team this year. I mean, they always start strong. The Magic are a team that always seems to start strong and fade out pretty consistently because they suck. But, I mean, they've been building that for a little bit now. I mean, you know me, my feelings on Mo Bamba, man. I think he's going to be one of the best rookies in his class.
He got some meaningful minutes. He came off the bench, but he played a bit.
He plays.
He played a bit. He plays. He does play.
He does play.
And look, I get it. They're big up front.
Right.
So obviously.
And that's going to cause some problems for the
defensively,
Celtics.
That's going to cause some problems.
But here's the thing.
But I mean, like,
you're at home.
And Baines didn't play as well, but still, it's like, come on. You can't let these guys stop you the way they did.
You're at home. You're the Boston Celtics. You have Gordon Hayward, Kyrie Irving, Jason. You have your super squad. You can't lose to the Orlando Magic when you have already played subpar basketball so far. That should have been a team that they ate up, and they didn't. So here's a little bit of the silver lining. I always try to find that silver lining. Brad Stevens is going to force feed them like this is 7. Like the guy who force fed them spaghetti meatballs. Remember that? They're going to force feed them this game tape. And make them.
Sean, you're sick, man. How do you think of that? Like, how does that pop into your head when you're talking about the Celtics? That's the most fucked up scene of the movie.
It is. No.
Oh, actually, that's
the end. What's in the box?
The end. Yeah, the box.
I'll tell you a funny story, actually. I was walking.
Oh, man. Do I want to hear this?
Yeah, I was just in a supermarket, and I heard, like, in the back room, some, like, you know how sometimes those doors open? Like, the flappy doors.
The flappy door where the butchers are.
And like I just heard like, "What's in the box?" And I started dying laughing, man. I just
Brad Pitt back there.
I just like fucking Morgan Freeman's just like, "Whoa, no, come on, man, come on, no. What's in the box, man?"
Morgan Freeman like pulls him back. He's like, "No, man, no, you don't want to see it. You don't want to see it."
That's
they go through the doors. He pushes them through the doors. So hold them back.
That's yesterday's chicken. You don't want to see that, man. You don't want to see that. Nah, man, but that's what reminded me of 7. You know, force feed him the game tape. He is. No, seriously, no. If I'm Brad Stevens, I'm making sure I'm going straight up Bill Belichick on them in game tape. And just say, that's unacceptable. It's an unacceptable loss. And now your schedule is not going to get easier as you go forward. And if Kyrie Irving isn't playing at a high level on the offensive side of the ball, he is a negative player because he cannot play a lick of defense. That was one of the knocks on him coming into the season last year. And he proved himself that he was able to play defense. This year, he looks like that's an afterthought. Just like his body language, the way he's trying to close out on threes. Like in a switch, he's always the guy who looks like a little lost. He's just like late to turn and then there's a guy shooting a 3. It's between him and understandably, you know, I guess people have been praising Hayward on the defensive end. I think he's doing okay. I don't think he's really understands the team defensive scheme right now. And, you can give Marcus Smart all the praise you want. Kyrie's had a couple steals. They're playing me basketball on both ends of the floor. And that's what the problem is. You're going to see some steals, but they're not playing good team defense at all. And as weird as it sounds, team defense is all about the individual. So if one person isn't buying in, i.e. Kyrie, and even Marcus Smart at times, it seems like they're not going to be able to stop anybody in the Eastern Conference.
Well, Kyrie Irving actually addressed his defense after the game, after the Orlando Magic game. He actually talked about how he vows to become a better defender. That's his goal this season. He admitted that at times,
can't get much worse.
Throughout his career, he has quote unquote coasted by on the defensive end. What's your reaction to that? Is this Kyrie Irving we know that since the beginning of the season or since before the season even started, Kyrie's been very open and been letting everyone know what's going through his mind here. What's your take when you hear him say something like that? Is this obviously
an excuse?
In my opinion, one, it's a sign of maturity. Not a lot of all-stars out there. Come on, Sean, you gotta give this to him. Not a lot of all-stars out there would flat out admit that he was coasting by defensively because obviously of what he's able to do on the offensive end. So now he's putting himself in a position. He's putting himself in a space where it's like, I'm on the spot here. You have to see results now because I just told you that sometimes I don't play 100% on the defensive end.
Yeah, sure. He did put himself on the spot, especially now. I'm not going to look at him as
he's under a microscope now.
Yeah, definitely.
Now you're going to make sure.
He's always been under a microscope.
Well, but when you put yourself, when you admit that you hey, I've been half-assing on the defensive end.
But you know what that
is?
You
have to step it up on the other side.
You know what that is though? No, that means he knows he's not right on the offensive end right now. That's why he's saying that. It has nothing to do with a renewed commitment. It just means hey, right now, I'm going to tell everybody that I'm committed to defense because I'm not scoring the basketball like I should.
Yeah, but Sean, you don't think if he really wanted to, he can go out there and drop 35 any night? You don't think if he really wanted to, he could be selfish and just say, look, I'm going to go do my own thing?
Right now?
This whole thing is
calculated.
I don't think so. Why do you not think that?
Have you seen him? He's missed wide open layups, wide open jumpers. He's not looked good. You need to hit your shots to get 35 points.
He's not taking 25, 30 attempts here. He's been sharing the wealth. He's making everybody else get involved. He's been putting people on the spot to contribute. New York Knicks, that's a great example in itself. What happened in New York? Jason Tatum goes up, misses, gets the ball back, kicks it back out to Kyrie. Kyrie kicks it right back to him, and what happens? Jason Tatum gets a fadeaway. The go-ahead shot, the dagger, if you will, puts them up by 3 points. You know what I mean? A year ago, Kyrie Irving would never do that. Kyrie Irving would be like, I gotta close this one out. I just gave you an opportunity, now it's my turn. No, he went to him twice. You know what I mean? I just think guys like Jason Tatum and Hayward, of course, of all people, that's the one that they really want to implement and make sure that he's feeling comfortable down the road or, within the foreseeable future. But I think if Kyrie Irving really wanted to, he could go off, but he's trying to get everyone involved because he knows for the long run, that's what it's about.
Right. For the long run, you need to
has to be on the same page. Everyone has to be involved.
I think you need to give Tatum his due, right? You need to give him his props, and Tatum was the best player on the court that night in New York.
Oh yeah, no question.
Easily. So give him the shot again, because Kyrie didn't have it that night. He did not have it at all. You know what I mean? That's just self-awareness, which is good. I'm not saying Kyrie's not self-aware, but he's just.
I feel like you're saying that he's.
No, he's
like he doesn't have it right now.
He doesn't have it.
I think he has it.
No,
he's being unselfish. He's being maybe a little too unselfish.
No, I think.
And then when he tried to be selfish against the Orlando Magic, it was too little, too late.
No, I think Kyrie doesn't have it. I think he's played one good half of basketball, and that was the second half against Orlando this year. That's the only good half of basketball he's played all season through 4 games. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not.
What's the big problem here? Do you think everyone just has to get on the same page here?
I think it'll work out. I think
continuity just it's going to take some time, right?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, this is why we're lucky we don't have a Luke Walton or a coach, a Steve Kerr. Because if this type of stuff happened where the players weren't figuring it out, then I think you would have seen Golden State have a lot of issues. But the players took initiative to figure it out there. So I think you're going to see the brilliance of Brad Stevens. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't be surprised at all, if you saw Kyrie miss a couple of games here. Just get healthy. I feel like he's not 100% healthy. Like something's wrong with him. Because you know who else has been subpar through the first 4 games of this year? Your boy,
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah. Where is he?
I think he's been the weakest league in the start.
Where is he? Yeah. What has he done? Nothing. He's invisible.
He's in a hard spot, man. I'm telling you, guys like Jaylen Brown.
He's going to get phased out.
No, he's not going to get phased out. This is the thing. Guys like him and Kyrie, they're in a tough spot because Kyrie wants to facilitate at a level where everyone can eat, everyone can produce. And when we're talking about someone like Jaylen Brown, his touches have diminished more than anybody's touches. You know, you look at the postseason. I mean, he was getting as many touches as Tatum.
Right, but here's the thing. He knew coming into the season that things were going to be different. So, what? Like just because he's not getting enough touches, the touches he does get, he's not looking good. Like he's there's something there, confidence wise, that I'm a little concerned about. I mean, Kyrie will figure it out if he gets healthy. Like if Kyrie gets healthy, he'll figure it out.
Sean.
He's not healthy right now.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not healthy. Fine. I swear to God. And if he gets healthy and cuts his hair, he'll figure out, oh, hey, actually.
Wow, I should have saw this coming. I'm surprised you didn't start off with this. Here we go.
I'm telling you, went to a
unkempt.
Went to a 6-year-old birthday party. This person doesn't listen to the podcast. Just talking about the Celtics with them. Talked about 2-2, not very good. He's like, yeah, Kyrie's not playing very well. He needs to cut his hair. And I go,
what does that have to do?
I literally looked around and I was like, are you fucking with me right now? And he's like, I just met this guy. I was like,
you're like, do you listen to podcasts, man? Are you trying to show me?
He's like, no. I was like, he's like, I don't even know he had a podcast. But yeah, I think when he lets his hair go, he looks like he's not trying. I was like, my man, that's it.
Your favorite guy at the party?
No, literally, yeah.
You hung out with that dude all day.
All day.
You were drinking IPAs with that dude.
Nah, man, not IPAs, man. After that, you just start doing heroin together,
What?
6-year-old birthday party. Shit gets crazy there.
You just take it to another level there.
Yeah. Some crystal meth on the side,
Before we switch gears here, Terry Rozier played 15 minutes. Is that a matter of them facing the Magic, a team with a lot of athleticism and height, or is Brad Stevens just really trying to switch things up here and put Terry Rozier in a space where he's like, okay, I'm going to monitor your minutes closely, and you're not going to play close to 20 minutes every single night like you used to?
Yeah, I think.
Which one is it?
I think it's. I don't think it has anything to do with the Magic. I think it was probably just like, let's just try something different here. Let's try to put Marcus Smart out there a little more. Let's maybe try to get Jaylen Brown a little more involved. I think there's going to be some growing pains.
More defensive lineup out there.
There's going to be some growing pains.
Because, I mean, Robert Williams got play. Daniel Tice played. To me, it was more of a height thing, but it could have been a defensive scheme overall.
Could be. I don't know. I think that having 2 superstars on the team that aren't 100% healthy to start the season is probably going to put him in a lot of different spots right now, making decisions on playing time for guys. You talk about Rozier. Look at Marcus Morris too. Like, slow start for him. A lot of players other than Tatum, and no one's been talking about Al Horford, but Al Horford's been solid.
Rock solid. See, I thought you were going to go the other way. Because defensively, he's been easily the best defender for the Celtics. All right, we'll be right back with more of the Causeway Street podcast, but I want to take this time to talk to you about 4hims.com, a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, and sexual wellness for men.
Did you know that 66% of men lose hair by the age of 35? Are you one of them guys?
Most guys don't even know that they're going to lose their hair until it's too late. But with 4hims.com, they'll make sure that you're ahead of the curve. And right now, our listeners can get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today. That's right. Right now, while supplies last, see the website for full details. This will cost you hundreds if you went to a doctor or pharmacy, but head to 4hims.com/street and you can get it for just $5. That's 4hims.com/street, FORHIMS.com/street. Get yourself signed up for just $5, Sean.
Trust me, you don't want to be the guy who's bald already and then gets the hair stuff done.
You don't want to look like LeBron James, right?
No. Yeah, that's LeBron James, man. You want to be the guy who has maybe, a slight receding hairline that's unnoticeable, but then you get it. That's the sweet spot.
That's when you know it's time to go to 4hims.com.
That's when you go to 4hims.
That's 4hims.com/street. Sign up today for just $5 right now. You get a trial month of 4hims. You can try it out. If you don't like it, you don't have to go back, but you can try it out for just $5 by heading over to 4hims.com/street and sign up today. All right, let's get back to this podcast. Let's switch gears a bit. We have to talk about the brawl that went down at the Staples Center.
Oh, yeah!
Of course, leave it to Rajon Rondo to spoil LeBron James' debut at the Staples Center. I mean, man, these two have hated each other for the past decade. And if you're a Celtics fan, if you've been following the Celtics the last decade, you know exactly what would happen if these two would get into each other's faces. Like, this was bound to happen, and it finally did. Rajon Rondo, Chris Paul, swinging at each other. They both connected on a couple of blows. Sean, I'm just going to flat out ask you the question that everyone's been talking about. Spitgate. Did Rajon Rondo spit in Chris Paul's face?
I hope he did.
I don't think he did. I
think he definitely did.
No, he didn't.
You watch those close-up videos?
Dude, why does everyone say that as soon as I say that?
Did you? Because the video don't lie.
I watched it.
The video don't lie. You can't watch that video and say, no, he didn't spit at him.
Do you really call that a spit? That's like missed, bro. Missed. Not to mention the fact that he wears a mouth guard. He wears a mouth guard.
I want a reverse angle. Give me the reverse angle.
All right, well.
Hey, one of the best parts about this fight, did you see that the Red Hot Chili Peppers lead singer tried to get in the brawl?
Anthony Kiedis?
Yeah, he had to get pulled out of the stadium, bro.
Anthony Kiedis tried to get into a fight.
He tried to get on the court. When it all went down, he had to get he got pulled back by security.
No, dude, you're doing that Sean thing.
No, he got pulled back by security and Flea. They were both like, no.
Up.
Yo, look it up.
Anthony Kiedis and Flea tried to get onto the court.
No, Flea was holding Anthony Kiedis back, and then Anthony Kiedis tried to get out, and he got escorted out of the stadium.
That's fake news.
It's not fake news, bro. No, Anthony Kiedis still did try to get on the floor. I think it's funny, but
all right, well, I got an update for you, Sean.
What?
Rajon Rondo, for the first time,
Yeah?
talked about it. And he opened up to ESPN right after the suspension was handed down. And he said this. He said, "This is the only time I'm going to address this. I had a mouthpiece in my mouth, and I was exasperated because I was about to tell him to get the F out of here. Look at my body language in the video. My hands are on my hip. I turn away for a second. I look at Eric Gordon and Carmelo Anthony in the video. If they saw me spit, they would have turned their face or something. They had no reaction. Of course, the NBA went on his side, of course, referring to Chris Paul, because I got 3 games and he only got 2. Everyone wants to believe Chris Paul is a good guy. They don't know how he's a horrible teammate. They don't know how he treats people. Look at what he did last year when he was in LA, trying to get to the Clippers locker room. They don't want to believe he's capable of taunting and igniting an incident. He comes out and says, I spit, and the media sides with that. So obviously, Rajon Rondo was not happy about the suspensions. He's
you know what? I didn't hear about this. I agree. So here's the thing.
It's easy to side with Chris Paul because
I'm not siding with Chris Paul. By the way,
Rondo has that reputation. No. What I'm thinking is you agree with what he says about how the media treats him throughout the situation. They're saying that pretty much everyone's been siding with Chris Paul.
And truthfully,
Rajon Rondo is spitting in his face.
I hate Chris Paul. I don't like Chris Paul. I'm okay if Rajon Rondo spit in his face. I'm okay with that. And I'm happy that he knocked him out, too. Well, I didn't knock him out, but you know what I'm saying.
That would have been crazy.
Dude, so for an NBA fight, that was basically a TKO.
Yeah, I gave it a 2-piece.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom. He did get caught. He did get caught, though.
2-piece combo.
Chris Paul caught him back with the uppercut, though.
2-piece combo. Yeah, he did. Not a lot of people talking about that. That's true.
That was underrated. He got him back.
He touched him up. But listen, if someone touches your face, he pretty much put his finger in his eye.
And talk about reaction time, Chris Paul. Rajon Rondo literally cocked back a fist. He literally took and went bang, back, and at you. And you didn't move a fucking inch.
You know what I love about it, too? He did what he did. He got pulled back, and he went straight to the locker room.
Here's my biggest... Oh, yeah.
I'm done.
No. Okay.
I'm not going to get it anywhere closer to him now. I'm done. There's no reason for me to be on the floor anymore. I'm out. Good night, everybody.
Here's
See you later.
Here's the biggest thing. Love Rajon Rondo. I also am 1,000% in on bringing the actual NBA fight back. I was so happy to see that the suspensions weren't really long. And you know what? Now, if somebody wants to fight somebody, throw a goddamn punch. Get suspended for 4 games. That's it. You're fine.
Yeah, I love how Brandon Ingram was like the Steven Jackson of
it. You know who his punch reminded me of? Remember when the Malice in the Paris, when Jermaine O'Neal almost punched that fan?
No, I'm talking about Steven Jackson when he was just laying people out in the Malice in the Paris. To me, that was his role in this fight. He was just laying people out.
Okay, here's the biggest takeaway from this fight, though. Again and again, LeBron James proves to be the biggest fraud and pussy in the NBA.
Yeah, what do you mean?
How are you not gonna go after? How are you so concerned about? Oh, my best friend Chris Paul. That's your teammate. That's Rajon Rondo out there. You have to defend your teammates, LeBron James. You are the guy that went to LA. you didn't go to Houston. You went to LA. So guess what? When you're going up against Chris Paul, you have to have your teammates back. If they all fucking want to fight Chris Paul, guess what, buddy? You're either pulling Rajon Rondo off the fight or you're getting in the fight. You're not pulling Chris Paul away from the fight to avoid this. Come on, man. It's not worth it, bro. It's not worth it, bro. Come on. You know Rajon Rondo's a dick. Yo, fuck LeBron James. LeBron James showed his true colors in that, and that is why I hate LeBron James. In that video, if you are a NBA superstar, which, whatever, he is.
He's the best player in the NBA.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He's never going to be respected by people like me and by, I think, the Rajon Rondos of the world. And I think, like, you know, people that are sort of real and not fucking weird as fuck. That is why I hate LeBron James.
What do you want to do? Throw blows? You want to
No.
Start punching Chris Paul?
Why are you worried about Chris Paul? Worry about Rajon Rondo. Pull him off. You don't want Rajon Rondo, your teammate, getting suspended more games than Chris Paul. Then pull Rajon Rondo out the fight. Why are you pulling Chris Paul to save him? Maybe worry about your up and coming so-called superstar Brandon Ingram coming out of nowhere and throwing fists. Instead of pulling him back, you're pulling the opponent back. Fraud. Absolute fraud. It shows you, people ask me all the time, LeBron James started a school. LeBron James stand up to Trump. LeBron James does all this. Joel said, LeBron James has the barbershop. No, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's stupid. Why do you hate LeBron James so much? Watch that video. That right there is why I can't stand LeBron James. Right there.
That was literally the first thing Sean brought up when we talked about the fight. Like, where was LeBron? Why was he defending his teammates? I don't know.
He doesn't defend his teammates. He doesn't.
I think he diffused the situation. I give
No. He didn't defuse
but I don't have a problem with it.
What is wrong with you?
How do you have a problem with that?
How do I have a problem with it? It's because, listen, give me a player. Any good player. Wait, let's just even say
Anthony Davis.
No. Okay, fine. Anthony Davis? You think that Anthony Davis is worried about Chris Paul in that situation? No, he's pulling Boogie Cousins out of there. Right? Let's say Kobe Bryant.
Or he knows that Rajon Rondo can get the best out of him. He knows that Rajon Rondo could fuck him up. So he was trying to hold him back. I don't know. I get what you're saying. Because you're the leader of the team. You're supposed to be rallying the troops and having their back. You should be either grabbing your guy or pushing the other guy.
And you know what? If you think you're a legitimate team in the Western Conference,
I get what you're saying, but I didn't have too much of a problem with it.
If you're a legitimate team in the Western Conference, guess what? There should be some bad blood between you and Houston. That's a team you need to go through. Don't be helping Houston out. That happens outside of the NBA court. You're not friends with LeBron James after that.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens after the suspension. In the meantime, let's get to our guest. We got Brandon Scoop B. Robinson waiting patiently for us as we bring him in. Scoop, first of all, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for checking on the Causeway Street podcast. How you doing?
Man, I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm just home cooking a little something to eat. Getting ready to watch the World Series.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, what you got there? You got something good?
Just a little something. Just some okra and tomatoes with some rice and some baked beans and put a little steamed shrimp with it.
Hachi machi. There we go. All right.
Man, Brandon's got some company coming over.
Yep.
All right, we won't keep you on the phone for too long.
Next time we'll bring him in the studio, man. You got to bring some leftovers.
And this is for me, myself, and I just was on a road trip.
I see.
All right. Well, hey, Brandon, we appreciate you taking the time. So Brandon was, like we said from the top of the episode, one of the first guys that broke this story about Kevin Durant and what he's going to do next season. Brandon, I'm just going to let you have the floor here. What are you hearing exactly about Kevin Durant, where his head is at in terms of 2019?
Well, the Los Angeles Lakers is the team, the destination, and the final, I don't want to say final attraction, but the coming attraction, if you will. It's La La Land, L.A., Hollywood. And got a tip from a source of mine in September that kind of broke the internet, and I found a lot of trolls and people and some of the thoughts that they had, but sticking with my source, and that's what I was told. The biggest thing is teaming with LeBron and winning some championships for the foreseeable future. I'm not just saying this because I'm on the phone with you guys and you're in the Boston area, but in the next year or two, you're going to see a rehash of the Celtics and Lakers rivalry, and why not have the best chess piece next to LeBron James in Los Angeles? And the Celtics aren't done fine-tuning. So you're going to see another Celtics-Lakers rivalry, and it starts this summer.
Yeah, you can sort of see that when LeBron went there. That was sort of destined to be. But Durant joining him, huh? I mean, How much you believe this source? You believe you riding and die with this source?
I ain't right with anybody but Jesus Christ himself, but this is what I'll tell you. The source that reached out to me gave me some tips on a few other things that became true. Told me a week before Luol Deng and the Lakers got the buyout that was going to happen. That same source told me that Kevin Durant was going to be doing a TV show with ESPN Plus as in production, with LeBron James being the special guest. That was news a week after this particular source told me. And this source has also been in the conversation or had conversations with the powers that be pertaining to the Houston Rockets and the Minnesota Timberwolves, which I've reported on over the past month and some change. So this source has knowledge, has been right on about some things, and certain things are still developing. So
okay.
I won't say I'm ride or die with the source, but the source is in the know.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Well, Brandon, how much of this plays into what LeBron James did? Like, was this whole thing calculated? Because I can't help but think that there's no way LeBron James would go to LA without something like this promised. Do you think this is something that it was calculated a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, between him and Durant, something that they talked about before LeBron ultimately decided to leave Cleveland and head over to LA? Did he go to LA knowing that Kevin Durant down the road was going to be waiting for him after this season?
Well, this is what I'll say to you. I'll say to you that LeBron James going to the Los Angeles Lakers this offseason was definitely a balance of basketball and intellectual property and branding. The Cleveland Cavaliers had their window with LeBron, and LeBron went to the Western Conference to let the young boys, the Celtics and the 76ers, as well as the Wizards, figure things out. That being said, Los Angeles was a perfect move. You have young talent on that team. You have a Brandon Ingram who, despite having some good hands, has some hands on the basketball court as well. You have Kyle Kuzma who can play well. Lonzo Ball can play a role with that team as well as Rajon Rondo. But I will say to you that LeBron and everything that he does is calculated. If you listen to what he said during the NBA Finals last year's NBA Finals, or last season's NBA Finals, he said that the place where he goes will be about family and somewhere that the family is familiar with. He doesn't speak in code. He's not a rapper, but Los Angeles is a place where he has called home in addition to Northeast Ohio. And for Kevin Durant to come in, you figure free agency next season, what will they do with Draymond? What will they do with Klay Thompson? Boogie Cousins has some things to figure out. The Warriors are still the NBA champs. Boogie Cousins told me last month that the Golden State Warriors are like Play-Doh. You can mold them to whatever you want them to be. You'll see what happens this offseason with the Warriors. Will they make it to the championship? We'll see. But I think when you look at the Lakers, they're definitely not done building. And I think signing LeBron was the first step. I will tell you that LeBron was so deep into signing with the Lakers this offseason, and Paul George and he did talk. I will tell you that Paul George did agree verbally to sign with the Lakers, and then in the 25th hour decided to go to OKC. LeBron was so deep into it, he couldn't back out of it. So LeBron is definitely in LA for the next 2 to 3 years, 4-year contract, but, I don't think that they're done building. Kawhi Leonard in Toronto has, changed some things too, but they definitely need 1 or 2 more pieces, as you're seeing in the first half of the season, or the first few games of the season.
Yeah, so that was my question. KD, so let's hypothetically say KD is the front runner to go to LA and join up with LeBron. Do they still make a play for Kawhi Leonard then? Because all signs point to Kawhi Leonard making a pit stop in Toronto and ending up in LA. How does this news and this affect Kawhi Leonard and his future?
I can't speak definitively about whether or not Kawhi Leonard will join the Los Angeles Lakers, because I think the NBA is a long season, and Toronto and he are pretty cozy early in the season. And you saw what happened with Paul George this offseason, where he ended up staying with OKC. What I can tell you is I think LeBron and KD are both in perfect situations, because LeBron leaves the Eastern Conference that was becoming increasingly more competitive. The Western Conference is too. But he doesn't have to go against the Warriors in the NBA Finals. So when you look at what LeBron is doing, he's setting up shop for the future. When you look at all those other pieces, a lot of other teams, it's kind of like the Big Three. When you looked at the Big Three in his first year, there were retired players who were looking at that situation, seeing how they did in their first year. Second year, you have more players. Next year, you'll have more players coming in. To that point, when you look at the Lakers, it's the same scenario. You have a situation where people are watching LeBron and seeing what he and all those younger guys are doing, the mix of younger guys and older guys. I think people have the misconception that it's just a young team. That being said, there will be some people that will find Los Angeles competitive, you know? So I think when you look at the long haul, LeBron is in a good situation because there's no pressure to get to the finals. Everybody's expecting that the Warriors will go to the finals. I mean, there was talk before the season started that the Rockets are still a viable option. Defensively, there are some things that have changed, but the Lakers are in a good position to recruit because you know what you're getting in the purple and gold.
How much does legacy play a part in this? Because we all know that, I mean, if we're talking just from a basketball standpoint in terms of free agents making decisions and changing teams, there's no other two athletes, I should say, actually in professional sports that receive more criticism than LeBron James and Kevin Durant. What, in your humble opinion, what is it going to say about these two guys if they were to join forces and compete for a title together? What does it say about their legacy? You know, I'm still in the camp of a believer that LeBron James does care about getting the ultimate title of being called the greatest basketball player of all time. And I think in his mind, if he wins 2 or 3 more titles and comes anywhere closer to Michael Jordan than he already is, I mean, he's halfway there. I think that's going to, in his mind, solidify himself. What does that mean for a guy like Kevin Durant? Because obviously Kevin Durant is going to be a career that's going to, you know, continue after LeBron James is done. Do you see Kevin Durant someone that's going to set up shop in LA and sort of bridge the gap between now and the next generation? How do you see things playing out?
Well, let me ask your first question about the legacy. I think that fans' perception of legacy and players' perception of legacy are two different things. I'll give you an example. Mm-hmm. When I was in grad school at Hofstra University, I did an independent study on guys like Jeremy Tyler and guys like Brandon Jennings who bucked the system and, you know, found ways to get into the NBA without doing the one and done. Interviewed sneaker great or sneaker deal maker, kingmaker, Sonny Vaccaro. And he said to me, you know, Brandon, players like Charles Barkley, players like Patrick Ewing, players like John Stockton, and almost Kevin Garnett, and as well as Karl Malone, all were loyal to one team and didn't have anything to show for it. He said to me, and this was in 2010, he said, the next generation of players that come aren't going to be as loyal. So he said, you look at the John Walls, you look at the Brandon Jennings, you look at the, you know, all these guys that were coming in next, the Derrick Roses, etc. They are looking at brand and they're looking at championships, and the money is not as much of a part of it as people think. To that point, when you look at Kevin Durant, he made a power move based upon what he saw. He went to the Warriors because it allowed him to preserve his legs, preserve his career, and to get other opportunities in Northern California. When you look at LeBron, when he left Cleveland the first time, he went to Miami. There's no sales tax. You know, he was able to build with his friends and to win championships. All that wear and tear on your body for what? To kind of paraphrase Chris Brown, these teams ain't loyal. You know, when you look at a situation where LeBron's decided what he's doing for what's best for his family, he's in control of his destiny. The World Series is going on right now. You guys are Red Sox guys, I'm sure. Kurt Flood, he was a guy who was able to dictate his free agency based upon making decisions for him. I think people criticize Kevin Durant and LeBron James for making moves that are best for them. I also think that LeBron James gave up that whole chasing Jordan's legacy a long time ago. Because number one, LeBron is not Michael Jordan. Number two, LeBron plays more like Oscar Robertson and Magic Johnson than he ever did Michael Jordan.
That's true.
And three, I know for me, Dr. J gave the baton to Michael Jordan as this innovative player, right? My opinion, Michael Jordan gave the baton to Tim Duncan, but he's a big man. There was this gap. Was it Kobe? Was it Iverson? Was it this person? LeBron James is this generation's Michael Jordan because he did it his way in a way Michael could have never done it. Number one, no, he didn't win 6 championships, but he's been socially conscious. He's built schools. But also, Michael made it possible for someone like LeBron or Kobe or even Allen Iverson or Derrick Rose to have the sneaker contracts that they did. And I think oftentimes when we make comparisons, because that's what makes people comfortable, they're not clear-cut comparisons. LeBron is LeBron. Michael is Michael. Magic is Magic. And Dr. J is Dr. J. So I don't think that those players look at legacies as much as they think. Like, I don't think they go to bed at night and say, hey, dang, if I go here, what are the fans going to think? Because the fans don't pay the bills. So I think it's a little different. I don't think that they're consulting with fans when making their decisions. They're making decisions for what's best for them and their families.
So, yeah, I guess I get it. I mean, it's two sides to that fence, right? I mean, you look at, like you said, the Ewings, the Stocktons, the Malones, absolutely beloved figures in that city because they were so